Israel launched strikes against Iran overnight.
Yeah, this comes in response to Iran's attack on Israel this past weekend, putting the Middle East on the edge. And Fox's Madeline Rivera live in Washington, D.C. this morning with more on this developing story. Madeline, good morning.
Good morning, Brandon and Paige. The details of Israel's intended target are unclear, but given the limited nature of the strike, there is hope this could help bring down the temperature in the region. President Biden has been working to de-escalate the situation in the Middle East, speaking with G7 leaders and other allies in the region after last weekend's attack by Iran against Israel. U.S. officials have urged restraint and had cautioned Israel to be measured in any response they might conduct.
It seems as if it was somewhat of a tit for tat. However, if I were Israel and I did want to escalate, I would go after the nuclear facilities. Israel, probably's largest threat in the region, is Iran's nuclear capability.
The strike comes amid growing concerns over Iran's nuclear ambitions and its support for proxy militias across the region, actions that Israel views as a direct threat to its security.
We will make our own decisions, and the state of Israel will do all that is needed to defend itself.
The U.S. had told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that the U.S. would not participate in any counteroffensive against Iran. Yet the U.S. also maintains that its support for Israel's defense is ironclad. Here's CIA Director Bill Burns speaking about that commitment laid out in full display last weekend.
The Iranians fired off something like 330 drones and missiles combined. Turned out to be a spectacular failure for them. Of those 330 missiles, only 4 or 5 actually impacted in Israel, and none of them did any significant damage.
A government source tells Fox the U.S. was not involved in Israel's strike within Iran overnight, but the U.S. was also given a heads up. Secretary of State Antony Blinken just spoke in Italy, where he's meeting with foreign ministers from G7 nations. He kept his comments short on the incident, saying that the U.S. was not involved in any offensive operations and that their focus remains to avoid conflict. Paige and Brandon.
Yeah, Madeline, do you get the sense now that maybe the U.S. and even Israel is just sort of holding their breath, waiting for the next move?
That's exactly the sense here. You know, we're seeing this tit-for-tat strategy that's happening right now. But as of the current moment, what we're seeing is that media from Iran and Israel, they seem to be downplaying the situation, which makes a lot of people think, a lot of foreign policy analysts think, that this may be a way for the two countries to take an off-ramp, an exit ramp, to de-escalate the situation in the Middle East.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo-Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man. Okay, and if you haven't heard by now, the Israelis had an attack overnight on, Iran, and it's said to have, attacked Iran, I believe, nuclear base or something of that magnitude. And, yeah, okay. So, nothing to be too over exaggerated about, because we know this isn't, World War III, okay? Because pursuant to prophecies, there's other prophecies that have to be fulfilled before World War III, breaks out. Okay, go full blown. But this could potentially lead to those prophecies coming to fulfillment in order for World War III to take place. Okay, so this airstrike, or this strike on an Iran nuclear base could potentially, have implications that Iran may retaliate, although they are saying they don't want them to retaliate because things could, potentially progress and go down that road where there's no turning back. That's what they saying they don't want. So they saying, okay, you guys hit us with all your drones, and now we hit you with this airstrike, and now we're even, okay? That's what they are expecting, or that's what they are, wanting to come to, okay? They don't want this thing to continue to escalate to where it gets out of control, and now, things are starting to heat up. Okay? So this is Jeremiah 50 and 45. It says, therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh, that he have taken against Babylon, okay, which is America, and his purposes, that he have purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock should draw them out. Right, speaking of the 1948ers, okay? And these Israelis, you know, they are doing things that America don't really want them to do against a nation like Iran that has nuclear capabilities, okay? So it says, surely the least of the flock should draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So these acts that, you know, these people in this land that are doing, you know, are going to eventually cause America to get involved, okay? And when America get involved, you know, China and Russia is going to get involved as well, okay? And then it's going to be a, you know, all-out World War III, all right? So for the time being, you know, things have to be fulfilled in order for World War III to actually come to pass, okay? So these little skirmishes and these little rumors of wars that, you know, they're posting on these networks and these news broadcasts, they're just that. They're rumors, okay? World War III will not go full-blown until what? The mark has to be implemented, which is probably going to come about by the way of Jacob's trouble, you know, which is going to be, you know, probably led on by the crash of this economy, you know. So you could very much well see how these, you know, tit for tats, as they say, back and forth with Israel and Israel, the so-called, you know what, and Iran could potentially lead to, you know, having a dollar have, you know, ways. You can see how the tit for tat between Israel, you know, the so-called Jays over there, and Iran could potentially lead to the dollar having implications, you know, of not doing so well. And matter of fact, you know, just going ahead and saying it, you know, crashing, okay, which would cause this economy to crash, which would cause chaos to ensue, and then which will cause, you know, Jacob's trouble. And, you know, it's just a storm just brewing for all things to come to pass at one time, okay? So, yeah, we know this is not World War III, but, you know, it potentially could help, you know, ignite what causes that it's going to take to lead to World War III, okay? So that's what we're waiting for. That's what we're waiting on, okay? We're waiting to see how Iran is going to retaliate. And is it going to escalate? All right. And in doing so, is it going to affect the U.S. economy? Okay, because the U.S. economy is already on pins and needles. Okay, it can't take too many surprises before, you know, it just reacts and it comes tumbling down like a deck of cards. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for this economy to implode on itself. All right, so that mad chaos can ensue. Okay, and that's when Jacob's trouble is going to really, you know, jump off. Okay, and then that's when they can bring forth that mark. All right, and then you can be concerned about World War III, because it says the third woe come quickly. All right, so, you know, the least of the flock, these, you know, 1948ers, you know, they're gonna get Babylon involved in this skirmish, and it's gonna escalate to, you know, Russia and China getting involved, and then it's going to be a full-blown all-out war, okay? So that third woe, it comes quickly. All right? So, you know, hey, what's that saying? Batten down the hatches, okay? Because when it comes, it's going to be here, man. I believe this is Revelation 11, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it Revelation 9? This is Revelation 9 and verse 12. It says, one woe is past, speaking of World War I. And behold, and behold, there come two woes more after. Right, so World War II has already happened. And what else? This is the third war that's getting ready to take place. But before it take place, other prophecies has to be fulfilled, okay? So we know famine of the word got to hit, you know. We know Jacob's trouble got to take place, and we know that mark is the thing, okay? That mark is going to be the thing that seals it. That's when that mark hits, then you know World War III is at your front door, okay? So this is Revelation 9 and 12. It says, one woe is past, you know, and they said on another media outlet, they said this is how, you know, the first World War took place, okay? It just was seemingly, you know, just between two countries, and then things just escalated, okay? And the same thing could take place back again here in this situation, okay? It could seem like a tick for tack. Iran hit, you know, the so-called, you know, Israelis, we're just gonna call them that, and the Israelis hit Iran, and now things start to pick up as they expect things to die down. You know, it can have the reverse effect where things start to pick up. All right. So it says, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more after. Slacky, let me read that again. It says, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Okay. So World War II has already taken place. There's only one more woe left, which is World War III, okay? And, you know, we know that, hey, certain things have to take place before we get up out of here, before World War III pops off, where the missiles are being exchanged, all right? And Babylon is eventually wiped off the face of this map, all right? So we just, you know, measuring the time diligently, okay? And keeping track on these things. Let me see if I can get that other verse on the third woe. Okay, it was in Revelation 11 and 14. It says the second woe is past. Now there was the first World War, and it says two woes thereafter. Now the second woe was World War II. That's past. Now it says the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe come quickly. Okay, so once these prophecies start to jump off the pages, hey, that third woe, World War III, is going to come quickly, and we're going to be up out of here, all right? So, you know, this little attack that, you know, seemed little and insignificant, but could have major implications, you know, which could bring forth that mark, which could bring forth that third woe. You know, we could be out of here, you know, sooner than you know we believe, okay? Because we read in Romans 13 and 11, you know, our salvation is nearer than we believe, okay? And we're not going to get delivered out of here until those missiles come to, you know, purge this land, which is America, okay? So the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And when it comes quickly, and these missiles come, you know, via by the way of these other nations who've been in the bow to let go of their missiles here on Babylon, we're going to get out of here, okay? Via by the way of those chariots, man. So, you know, continue to, you know, endure, okay? Because we almost up out of here, all right? Just got, you know, a few more prophecies, and then this third woe, and then at the same time those missiles come to destroy Babylon the Great, our salvation, Yahushua, is going to, you know, come and deliver us, all right? So you just wanted to bring this out. Hey, things could continue on this path and, you know, continue to escalate, and have major, implications in what this U.S. economy can actually taint and crash, okay? Because we know the U.S. dollar is the world reserve currency, okay? And if this world reserve currency, implodes on itself and the economy crashes, that's going to allow chaos to ensue, okay? And people ain't going to know people aren't going to know what to do, okay? Talking about hyperinflation. You talking about, hey, can't pay your rent. You talking about can't afford groceries. They're going to be clamoring for that mark, that device, okay? And it tells us that in Isaiah, the 31st chapter, woe to them that go down to Egypt, okay? So in the midst of Jacob's trouble, people aren't going to be able to figure out what's going on because why? The famine of the word is going to have hit. They ain't going to know where to go to get answers at. There's going to be a crying in the streets for wine. The mirth is going to be gone. So your playoffs, your finals, everything ain't going to be the same, okay? So there's major implications on this dollar, imploding on itself, okay? And the least of the flock, speaking of those, 1948ers, they could very much well bring, America into this battle, okay, which they are, okay? Which can have major implications on this dollar. So we just seeing and, measuring the time diligently, okay? Because we know once these prophecies start to hit, and especially when that prophecy, Revelation 13:16 on down, once that comes to pass, hey, World War III is at the front door, man. Okay? And we going to be up out of here, okay? We're gonna get transformed. We're going to get changed in the twinkling of the eye when those chariots come. And then, hey, America's going to be finished, man. This is it. You living in the last days, man. What you know as America is going to be no more once those missiles come, all right? So the second woe is past. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly, all right? So once these prophecies start to hit, we out of here. Habakkuk 2 and 3. The vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will not tarry. Right? Because once that one prophecy take place, they all going to come falling down like a deck of cards, man. And we're going to be out of here sooner than you believe. Okay? Romans 13:11. All right? So, hey, just keep the faith. Keep fighting the good fight, enduring to the end, and we're going to be out of here, all right? Those of us that are of the elect, all right? So this is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, right? And he's going to get a lot of our people because they ain't going to have a clue to what's going on. Because why? They are carried away, or they are, what's the word? They are concerned with all the mirth that's going on in the land, okay? They're not concerned about prophecy, okay? They're not measuring the times diligently. They're concerned about who in the NBA finals, okay? They're concerned about who got the #1 pick in the draft, all right? Things that the media put to keep you distracted, okay? They're concerned about things that don't have any means to them, okay? So it says 1 Peter 5 and 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, and he gives you these vices to keep you occupied so you can't see the real danger that's going on, okay? While he's setting up his, new infrastructure in the, form of this chaos, he's giving you things to keep your mind occupied so you don't see the danger that's coming, okay? But those of us that in the truth, we see it, okay? And we putting it out there for those that would take heed and listen, all right? So be sober, be vigilant, all right? Because we know everything has a reaction, okay? These little skirmishes and these little rumors, that you hear, they don't go unheard of, okay? They have a trickling effect, okay, whether you see it or not, all right? The markets, they react to it, okay? And, you know, we waiting, man, because it's going to take something. And when it does, this dollar is going to come tumbling down, man. And it's tied with oil, you know, it's tied to the petrodollar. You know, it's not going to take much, okay? So when this economy starts to taint and starts to crash, and this dollar that is tied along with it, hey, that's all it's going to take, man. And you got to remember, you got shutdowns, government shutdowns that's always coming in. You got the Feds trying to lower the interest rates. You got all these talks, all these things that's happening on the back burner, okay? So when one thing takes place, they all going to have the same effect, okay, if not greater, all right? So all we doing is we just waiting and watching, okay? Because we know it's coming, all right? It's coming, but those that are carried away in this society, and, you know, the devil got them already, all right? So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, okay? So, you know, you could watch your sports shows and whatever, but, you know, have in your mind that you know exactly what time we in, okay? Because you got people that just watch sports shows, you know, just because they have no idea what's going on around them, okay? So you have to continue to be sober and be vigilant, all right? So with that being said, I pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the good Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.